a while, and I can't believe this turned out for today. This is the biggest I've ever seen, and as always, thank you all. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for letting us bring our brand of entertainment to you. Who are my veterans of previous years? We were all in the one room in the hotel. All right. Who are just joining us for the first time? All right, well, friends, old and new, once again, thank you for joining us here today. Thank you for being here today. We got a Q&A line up with some amazing guests. What this will do is, what I'll probably do the rest of the day with all the guests I host is have a conversation with them, kind of like where they started and where they dawned, some of their greatest hits and how they got there. Then it'll be my pleasure to turn it over to your questions. What I'll do is I'll literally walk on out, I'll hold this microphone and have you all line up in the center here. I'll just ask, hey, what's your name? Go ahead and give your name. I'll say, what's your question? Go ahead and jump right in your question. You don't go into crazy details. Oh, well, this I came out every day. I watched the show and everything else. You know, when I got the series from Netflix and I actually sent it in the mail, so I like watch it all in one day and I sent it back because my mailman brought it in like 9 o'clock and I dropped it off there too. So anyway, my question, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well there you go. Well, so you got that question too. And just one question at a time, obviously, and this is very important. There's a line, you're welcome to go back to the end of the line and try again, one question at a time. And feel free to ask a question. Please do not make a request. What is a request? Can I come up and get a hug? Can you sing Happy Birthday to my friend in this specific character voice? We can't accommodate that because he's got to go back to work on Monday, so we can't really do any requests for character voices and stuff like that. So with that being said, y'all ready for this?
Yes!
All right, and I know we got to fight against the room and everything else too, so at any point anybody just says like they can't hear us, we'll try to step on up. We're voice actors.
We can project. Projection. Oh, that's actually pretty loud. Cool.
So with that being said, Ocala Comic-Con 2022, our guest is an actor and ADR director whose credits include Beastars, Attack on Titan, Skate the Infinity, and Final Fantasy VII The Redo. Today he joins us to discuss his fantastic career. Please welcome Daman Mills.
Hello. Hi guys, how's it going? I'm Daman. This is my first time here. I'm super excited. Everybody's been so lovely so far. And yeah, like you said, I'm in those things. I've done Dragon Ball, obviously, as I can see. I've met some of you guys earlier today for Frieza and Skate the Infinity, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm super excited to chat with you guys, and you as well.
No, we've done virtual events.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited.
I just missed you in Seattle.
I know.
So
like all over the place.
I know.
Jet setters.
So anyway, for the audience and for myself actually, because I've never had a chance to do a one-on-one with you. How did this all begin for you? How did you? Because no one ever. I always say this about voice acting. We'll probably bring this up too. Mm-hmm. People. Now it's a destination, but up to about 10 years ago, something people fell into.
Right.
So, what got you interested in being a performer, and how did that lead into voice roles?
So, I grew up as a big fan of anime and video games myself, and it wasn't until I was my mid-teenage years that I realized it was a thing. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I was a really shy, kind of introverted kid and didn't really have a ton of friends. And I was like, oh, this sounds fun, but I'm scared. So, I started practicing just like voice impressions at first. And just doing little recordings on my phone or whatever and trying not to freak out my mom if she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Just voice acting, God. And, so I started doing that. I started doing little indie projects online. I was like 16 when I started, 15, 16. I'm almost 30 now. So it's been a minute.
Get used to saying under 30, as long as you can.
Under 30.
I have to say I'm under 60 now. That's the only thing.
Nah. Yeah, that's almost gone. I did some online indie projects. I tried to find out as much, because back when I started there wasn't as many resources for voice acting as there are now online, so I had to kind of do a lot of my own legwork and try to...
Was it specifically, was it anime or just animation in general that sort of...
I think animation, anime, video games, like the voiceover for it.
What were some of those things that you were into as a fan?
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball, for it.
Dragon Ball.
Stand up, Dragon Ball, come on. Alright, Dragon Ball. I don't want to pause for a Dragon Ball cosplay.
Yes. I was a huge Dragon Ball fan. And so, stepping into the shoes of Frieza is a massive thing for me. Final Fantasy VII also. So I've really kind of checked some boxes that are bucket lists that got me into this.
That's a heck of a full circle.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
I never did get that gold chocolate.
Yeah, I know.
I tried.
I know. And yeah, and then I kind of moved all over the place. I worked in New York a little bit, then I moved to Dallas for a number of years and got a lot of the bulk of my work there. And then I've been in LA for 2 years now, and it's going really well.
How did you go from the recording side of the glass, or the booth, I should say, to the technical side of the booth?
Oh, for like directing and stuff. So while I was working at Funimation, I had talked to a couple of friends of mine, Alexis Tipton and Tia Ballard. They were ADR directing at the time, and they were like, well, are you interested in trying to learn in Shadow? And I was like, yeah, I think that would be really fun. So it was like maybe 2019. So I decided to start shadowing them, sitting in on their sessions and taking notes and observing and trying to get the idea if I wanted to do that or not, and it really appealed to me. So I trained for a little bit of time. I did some assistant directing on the first show I did. It was actually one that I was a lead in, Kono Oto Tomore Sounds of Life. I played Shika Kuya in that. And so I was helping on the season 2, and then the pandemic hit. And then we started recording remotely. And so I did I have done most of my directing remotely. So and that's a whole different thing with tech, and like there's some latency because of Zoom and Skype or whatever we use. Yeah, but I love it. I've directed 2 of my own, cast and directed 2 of my own shows. Assistant directed on a bunch. I'm helping with right now the Prince of Tennis, and yeah, it's all over.
It's wonderful. A friend of mine, well, not a friend of mine, but a Disney director whose name I will not mention, but he actually loves directing remotely because there's some words. Yeah, the actors may hit me.
What? Who hits people? That's rude.
Well, he's known them for a long time and asked, so he'll just say, that's really good, but maybe next time can you make it funny?
You make it funny, you don't suck.
Yeah,
That's so mean.
Well, he doesn't. He's familiar with it, so he can break busted jobs. But that was his story. Yeah, it was during the lockdown. It was interesting, running virtual events. People were broadcasting from the closets, they were rooms and stuff. And it seemed interesting because some people went to full Monty doing that, and some people just kind of went under their bed and sort of did it, and also was sort of the same vibe.
I have a booth in my house that I bought because the closet just felt. I mean, they work well enough. They do. Like if you sound treat a closet correctly, you can absolutely make it work. But I just wanted something because I was going to be in there so much that I invested in some soundproof. I mean, I still record remotely a lot and direct because stuff. And sometimes it's easier and preferred because they travel, you know. And sometimes clients are out of state, you know. So
it's always fun to record that rare time when you can get the actors in there and stuff.
Right. For like an ensemble recording?
Yeah, like troop style is always wonderful to get that energy. But especially anime, that's a luxury and it just is not.
No, exactly. No, anime, no. Free-lay animation, yeah, that's one I've tried to do. It's, it's hard to break into. Video games usually still also record solo, even if it is like an American video game. Like I've recorded on World of Warcraft and Star Wars and stuff, and they still record by yourself.
Speaking of, I want to go into that a little bit. What was it like that transition from narrative animation projects to video games? And put it this way, my favorite difference between the two is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. He would say, it would take me 2 days and 2 4-hour sessions to an episode of Batman. The first part of the game was 5 days a week, 6 hours for 9 months.
Yeah. Video games have just a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of things to say, and you need to make a little effort for every little thing. Like if you're, say you're landing, say you're moving, say you're like punching, you know, like everything. Are you eating something? Are you, I don't know. There's so many little things. Yeah, you're right.
And all those, again, bound by all those options.
Yeah, and then there's different
It's behind the tank. It's behind the Jeep. It's behind the motorcycle.
Yeah, or
it's
when you
behind the dog.
have the like the choice options for different routes, like you make your own decision on a route, you need to have options for every single one of those things, especially for like giant RPGs, like Persona or whatever. You need to have all of that. And so video games, not all of them, but some of them can take. Well, it's weird because I do all kinds of different ones. So I've done like little mobile games that I can do like maybe a 1 hour session and that's it, and then you're done. Or record for 6 months for 12, 15 hours a week. It's a lot.
But it's good work when you get it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's all amazing.
I'll take a fat video game gig.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it.
A buddy of mine's one of the Red Dead guys.
Very
very beginning. It's like for 4 years he was allowed to tell me this is the very first Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, yeah, I want it, but I can't tell you what.
Yeah. I've done a mocap gig. Oh my god, it's Darth Vader. Darth Vader.
Yeah, what was motion capture like for you?
Yeah, so I've done mocap, one job. I'm not traditionally trained in acting on screen and theater, so it's a whole different kind of thing because you're wearing like the suit with the dots and everything, and you've got to act like you're acting on a set because you're on like this what they call the volume, which is like this the field where they contain the whole set, the virtual set. And they've got it because you don't see anything because it's all in game. They have to like line things with like tape or whatever, and it's really fun.
What's been the most rewarding role to date for you?
That's hard. You're giving me the hard.
I didn't say your favorite.
Rewarding.
I'll never ask your favorite, but
rewarding is that's still kind of like dabbling in the favorite category.
Well, it's
because like Dragon Ball's hugely rewarding for me in a very deeply personal way. Skate the Infinity is another one that really just resonates with me a ton, and everybody that I've met in the fandom is just enormously kind and sweet, and just the love that I get from that just means the world. So, especially because we put so much heart into it. I mean, those are two that just really, really stand out to me. When Final Fantasy was a big one, I cried when I looked at it. Like, I was like really overwhelmed because that was such a I didn't think that was a possibility for me. I'm really happy with living in LA and having the opportunities that I do.
Let's go to LA. 2 more, I'll turn over to audience questions.
Yeah.
This is the inevitable question from your voiceover panel, so let's just get it out of the way. What's your most succinct advice to give to anyone who wishes to pursue a career in voice acting?
Don't do it. No, okay.
I've had some people say the bus is full.
The bus is full. No, so if you guys do want to get into voiceover, what I recommend is being an actor first because, wanting to have a cool voice or do a different voice or whatever, that's cool and all, but if you can't act in every capacity in that voice, then it doesn't really matter, right? So being an actor is most important, and also getting cold reading training, because all we do for our stuff is we get in the booth, see the script for the first time, and we have to read that line. We don't rehearse. So you have to be really good at being able to take direction, infer what's going on in the scene and the characters and the emotion and blah, 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 and be able to just spit it out. And then also staying in character and staying in the voice. It's just a whole lot of different things. So those things, there's a wonderful voice actor resource that D. Bradley Baker made called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Brilliant. I wish I had this when I was a kid. There's also a book that Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt have wrote, a voice acting book, I forget the name of it exactly, but I read it when I was getting started. Enormously helpful. Yeah. Get involved with your local theater, you know, theater groups, try to record on your own, you know.
D. Bradley Raker is a great resource.
Yes,
and
yes.
He's mentored a lot, but he's always been honest about this.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it too. He asks this question in person, he'll talk about following faith. Understand, is this a dream or is this a passing fancy? If you want to do it, you got to absolutely do it and do all the way to it. And then he says, and you'll work hard, struggle, when you finally break that bubble and you get inside, then it's worse. Because he's like, because now you're broken in and now you're in competition with us.
Yeah.
And he says, now you're in competition with me. And then he pulls his Emmy out and he puts it on the table.
Yeah.
And he's not doing it to discourage everybody. It's just really.
That's just it's honest. It's true.
This is the path.
You have to be good enough to compete. Yeah, because you're going to be competing with all of those people who read on those same projects, those same roles, and you have to be good enough to win it. Because it's just a competition. Ultimately, we're always auditioning, right? I do auditions every week, almost every day. It's a lot. So, you want to want it.
My final question, I always ask this of every voice actor. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in the booth?
What is the craziest thing that's ever happened?
I mean, listen, I don't know what.
You're allowed to share general
I don't know. You know, it's so funny because those questions, you think that I have things that stick out to me, but because I do so many sessions, it's sometimes hard to keep track. There's one that I remember from years ago where I was dubbing an anime called Nabaka, and there was, I don't even think this is the craziest, but it's a funny one that I think. But so when we're dubbing to anime, what we call ADR, we have like two monitors typically. We have a monitor for the script on one side and a monitor for the video on the other. For whatever reason, the mic placement or the screen placement or whatever that day, I was having a hard time seeing what we call the flaps, the mouth movements. And I was like, I'm having a hard time seeing this. It's telling my director, it's Aaron Disney, I don't know if you guys know him, but he, so he's like, oh, well, you can just move the screen. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I go to move and adjust the monitor. And it just pops off the stand. And it's in my hands, about to fall to the floor. And instead of helping me, he just laughs and laughs a lot with the engineer. And they're both just laughing and me just struggling. So that was funny.
They literally left you hanging. So.
Yeah.
Let's see if he drops it.
Yeah. I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, awesome, amazing. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's others.
Engineers.
Yeah, right.
Believe that. Well, David, thanks for telling me
Yeah,
precious curiosity. I would like to invite our audience. If you have any questions for our guests, come on up. We'll do a line right after. Hey, boss, what's your name?
My name is Pedro.
Hi, nice to meet you, Pedro.
So, obviously playing Frieza,
Yes.
very bad evil dude.
Haha.
Do you have any kind of like rituals or anything that you run through your head in order to get into that character?
I sacrifice children before every session. And little small animals.
I honestly, no. I kind of just roll up and then just like, there's like a switch where I just like fall into it, you know? And maybe I'll warm up the voice a little bit beforehand. But typically, no, I just kind of go in and like, what's going on? Cool. You know, so I'm sitting here, my voice a little bit lower than the first. I'm like, oh yeah, so he's killing Vegeta. Cool, awesome.
Die, Saiyan!
Sorry, that was so loud. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Blake.
Nice to meet you.
So, voicing Frieza, could you you ever get to meet Chris Ayers?
I was good friends with Chris Ayers, like for a long time, yeah. I've known Chris for years. I'm very good friends with his now widowed girlfriend. But, it is really hard to lose him, but you know, all I can do is do my best to honor his memory. You know?
I think you succeeded.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Reef. I have a question. So since you voice act for Frieza, I just want to know, is there any kind of like difference in the process? Like, do they give you a strict set of rules compared to like any other indie projects that you have worked on in the past, or like?
So sorry, what? One more time?
Do they give you any guidelines for filling on Frieza? Is like, okay, we want this is the motivation, or any direction?
Is there any direction for Frieza, or is it?
Yeah, like do they give you like a certain set of rules or something? Since you work for like such a big like.
Oh, well, like, can I do indie projects? Is that what you mean? Like, not.
For the character.
Oh, is there a difference between them? Not necessarily. I mean, with recording Frieza, I mean, there's more criteria for like rules, like with like my contract. Is that what you mean, or just like rules with like the character? With the character? Oh, I mean, well, they give direction based on what's needed in that scene. You know, like it just depends on what's going on. Any project that you do is going to ask the same thing. Like all voice acting projects, big or small, ask the same thing typically. It just depends on what type you're doing. Because you can be doing the anime, you can be doing the video game. And doing the anime for Dragon Ball and doing video games for Dragon Ball are two different things. Because the way that we do them both is different. So we dubbed to picture for Dragon Ball, for Dragon Ball Super, for instance. But for a game like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, is we typically are just matching the voice file of the Japanese. So they'll play the Japanese voice file, we'll have our script there, and then we'll repeat it, make sure it's in the same time. Repeat it with our own reading, just to match the time. I hope that answered your question, sorry.
Hey, what's your name?
Kaden.
Hi, Katie.
So when you're doing Dragon Ball, are you close friends with Sean Schmidt?
I don't know Sean that well, but Sean and I have met. He's very cool. I know Chris Sabat more than Sean. But I know a lot of the cast. Yeah, Sean's really cool. Sean's always been very nice to me. He's a good guy.
I've hosted Sean several times. I sent a private message, oh, what happened? Am I here? And he had something that came on out, but he really wanted to be here.
He did, but they swapped in Frieza instead.
But Sean's a cool cat.
He is, yeah.
And hopefully we'll have him here next year. But we got this awesome guy.
Thank you, thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Sage.
Hi, Sage.
So State Infinity is an incredible show, and the dub is hilarious.
Thank you, thank you.
I would want to know, like, what that experience was like for you, how much freedom you and the other voice actors you had to make them play with some of those lines and new characters. It gives so much life for people too.
So, for Skate the Infinity, it was actually enormously fun. I auditioned after watching the first episode, subbed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be incredible. Like, I just had this feeling, you know? And I was like, I really, we try not to get attached to stuff when we're auditioning. It's like, I shouldn't get attached to this. I don't want to, like, get this and be sad, or not get so sad. And so when I got cast, I was so excited. And then I saw Jonah got cast, and then so we started talking, and we were noticing like just little things between Sherry and Joe, and we're just like, okay. And the writer, Leah Clark, was also putting little nods in here and there, and she was leaning into it. But we definitely we'd be like, well, what if we said blah 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 instead? Or like try to tweak it just a little bit, just to make it a little more spicy. But there was one, I don't know, the hello that I say to Joe, like hello. The director, he was like, yeah, so I think you're like maybe trying to like irritate him or egg him on or something. And I was like, no, sweet summer straight child, no, you don't understand. This is very, very, very good. I was like, can I just lean into that a little bit? And we did. And I kept doing that until we were done. Yeah.
Thank you.
And hopefully more in the next one, next season.
Hey, what's your name?
I'm Richard.
Hi, Richard. Nice to meet you.
Alright, so I don't know how in depth I can answer this question, but there was a belief that anime was going to come back.
I know nothing. I know literally nothing. I'm honest. Like, all I know is what you guys know. So when they announce Super, if they announce Super coming back, that's when I'll know. Because we don't dub ahead of time typically. We usually dub after the Japanese is already done. So that's usually what happens. But fingers crossed soon, I hope. Because I really want to. I know there's that new thing with Frieza. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, very excited.
So stay tuned.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, August. Nice to meet you.
So many questions, but I'm going to just stick with skate. What was your reaction when you saw Cherries and take that skateboard to the face?
I screamed. I screamed when he took the skateboard to the face. I was like, no, my son. It was horrible. I was so sad. And I was like, this is such a cool episode. Finally, he's like delving into his backstory and blah, 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 blah. And it ends in tragedy. And I was like, no. At least he was like, okay. You know, because I was like, oh, he's going to be like hurt. Like, because, you know, if anybody did that in real life, he'd probably be dead. So, I just got it. But then I was like, oh, Joe, I'm looking out like a princess and like help save him. So, he's good.
Yeah.
So I also, when Yuri on Ice, that
Yes.
is Seattle, is there a specific person or like Yuri that you used to create that accent to get his voice right?
I just try to be Russian as possible. Da.
Another one? If you keep asking non-Dragon Ball questions, I'll let you keep asking.
I have a lot of non-Dragon Ball questions.
Yes.
That's nothing against the Dragon Ball people.
Okay, also about Yuri on Ice, I know a lot of people thought that you voiced Yuri, not Yuri, Victor.
Yuri, yeah, Victor, because-
Yes.
yeah.
Because I know at one point you had like silver hair. And so they kept thinking that. Is there anything you would have done different if you had voiced Victor?
No, I think Jerry Jewell is incredible. I think he is really, really good. Yeah, I mean, that would have been amazing, of course, but yeah, I love being a part of it, period. I wish it would come back. So, maybe someday, right?
Well, we're starting to get, I'll tell you what, one more.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Crap.
Just voiced,
Oh, some